Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's second Friday Vacation Station Food, Wine, and Travel Show with Nancy and Lisa, the mother-daughter travel team and publishers of Big Blend Radio and TV Magazine, our variety publication, and Parks and Travel Magazine. You can check them both out at BigBlendMagazines.com. Super excited today. We have one of our favorite people, Mary Farah, back on the show. Mary, there's something about Mary. There is. She's super cool. She is a board member of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, and that's who we partner with every second Friday. We get to chat with travel writers about their experiences exploring the world. And Mary is back on the show because she spent a hot 48 hours in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Well, hello.
I know. Well, she did. She went up in a hot air balloon. I would say that's a good lift off to an adventure. And it was all before, it was actually connected to the International Food, Wine, Travel, we say IFTWA, International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association's conference, their annual conference, and that was in Santa Fe. And so she's like, I'm going to Albuquerque on the way in. I don't know if she took the hot air balloon from Albuquerque to Santa Fe, but she had a good time. And you can read her article about her adventures. It's up on blendradioandtv.com. Just type in Albuquerque and you'll find her, or just type in Mary Farah and you'll find her. And also it's featured in the February-March issue of Big Blend Radio TV Magazine. But I encourage you to keep up and follow Mary and go to alongcomesmary.com. So Mary, how are you?
Hi, good. I'm going to make a quick correction real quick with that URL. Unfortunately, I had to add blog. It's alongcomesmaryblog.com.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm glad you corrected me.
No worries.
No. You know what? It's like, I just always think about Along Comes Mary, but you're right. Absolutely.
Do.
That's how it is. But yeah, alongcomesmaryblog.com. Find her on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, everything. And that's funny because that, talk about social media. That's what you were doing, right? In Santa Fe, you were one of the presenters this year for the conference.
I was, yes. I was so excited and honored. IFTWA invited me to come back and do another social media workshop. And I teamed up with Christine Cutler, who's our Food, Wine, Travel Magazine editor-in-chief, and her and I did a great hour presentation about introduction to social media, learning about hashtags, Instagram, all that good stuff. And yeah, we had a great turnout, really great questions. It was a highlight of the conference, our workshops. They were really fun this year.
That's cool. Awesome. I mean, the social media side it's such a powerful thing. It's like, not only do you write articles, do podcasts, we've got YouTube, and all of that, but even just posting a photo gets someone's attention to a place they may never have thought of going to. So it really does. Yeah, it really does. That was something Chris and I focused on in the workshop, the power of the Instagram stories. Those have really been taking off. And I get so many cool comments and replies, especially I was joking with the New Mexico tourism boards when we were doing everything during the conference and the trips, that a lot of the stories I was posting, I was getting replies from followers saying, I had no idea Albuquerque was so cool, New Mexico is so fascinating, I'm going to go now because I saw your post or a video. You really never know who you'll reach with social media. It's awesome, and people follow each other by hashtags. I just feel like Jimmy Fallon. Hashtags. I don't know. And now I want hash browns, But and here's what is interesting about New Mexico. Hey, see, even the dogs are excited now, right?
I apologize. And mind you, they are downstairs so far away, and yet I have earbuds in, and they are howling.
They know you're excited about New Mexico, but New Mexico, is known as the land of enchantment. New Mexico True, hashtag New Mexico True is a thing that, they've been doing for a while now, just really showcasing that New Mexico's really kept its integrity to its cultural roots. I think its natural history as well, its geological history. I mean, New Mexico is just there's no other place like New Mexico. It has its identity.
I couldn't agree more. I was just telling a friend of mine earlier today, actually, she was asking what it's like down there. Is it just another big desert? What's there to do? And I told her, and I really stand by it, of all the states I've been fortunate to visit so far, New Mexico has to be the first one where I truly felt like I could not be in this country. It has such a unique feel to it, and so much authentic food, and the communities and the people and the background. It truly is the land of enchantment. That's the perfect description of it.
When you go from LA to Albuquerque, and before we started recording, we were talking about there's a difference. Like today we're in Yuma, Arizona. When we get to see you, like when this airs, Mary will be touching down in Yuma, Arizona for the Yuma Bird Nature History Festival. So we get to party with Mary with birds and history and wine. But there's a difference here. We went from Yuma to Gallup, New Mexico, Colorado, and then to Santa Fe. And so we're here almost like sea level, and then there's like, oh, where it's really hot and warm here, like, we need a jacket, and we're going up. Like, there's going high up from the 60, well, Colorado, you know what I mean? There's high, and then there's high, and this is a different, like, the altitude. So did you feel that change going from LA? Was that part of it?
Very much so. I will admit, I started my journey from LA. Oh, like you guys mentioned, I flew in for my 2 days in Albuquerque and felt it a little, but not too horribly there. Albuquerque, I believe, is at around 5,000 elevation. And then when we got to Santa Fe, which is 7,200, that's when I really was starting to feel it. Like, whoa, boy, I could feel it in my lungs. I felt a little lightheaded. Yeah, I felt like I was a bit more sleepy. I found myself with some downtime, excited at the thought of taking a little nap, just a little bit more lethargic, and really having to keep on top of staying hydrated. And as you girls know, a little bit difficult because there is great New Mexican wine. So I had to make sure with all the wine to be having double the amount of water one would usually have, is what they recommended to us with the altitude in New Mexico. Yep.
Now, you write a lot about being gluten-free, right? And so
I do.
Mexico has got to be cool in that. Okay, so in LA, like Nancy, you love your enchiladas. Nancy, you bring enchiladas around Nancy. She's gonna dive bomb into them. But there's
my favorite
Mexican Southwestern food in LA and Southern California, here in Yuma. But each area has its distinct thing. But Albuquerque and Santa Fe have like that Spanish style tossed into that as well, into that mix, and some European flavors. Albuquerque, was it easier for you because were things more corn based versus gluten? What was it like for food?
Yeah. Oh, there was so much amazing food there, not only because so much of it is centered around corn and corn tortillas and whatnot, but just also the health consciousness is really strong in Albuquerque and the state itself, because I really found everyone connected to the land and the earth so much. They really respect and want to use what they can get from the earth. So you will automatically find a lot of plant-based dishes, really suitable if maybe you're vegan or watching how much meat you're having. Then on the flip side, if you are a meat eater like myself, I'm pretty limited. I prefer to stay more vegetarian, but I do eat white meat and fish, and everything just is really fresh. It's not going to be fast food quality. They're very committed to delivering good food and great dining experiences. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I could dive into enchiladas, and I did a few times, a little bit in Albuquerque.
Santa Fe, or as I say, New Mexico has really good food from like day one. The chilies, to me, are like, you can have them Christmas style with you're ordering red and green on your plate, right?
That's what I love. I did not know that's like the state. Oh, they're the only state with a motto that's a question, I found out. And that's the question, red or green.
And they have their own, they're the first state to have its own cookie, the bizcochito.
Yes, the amazing biscochitos. Yes, from Selena's Bakery in Albuquerque. Unfortunately, I hear they're great. I got some for my husband who's not gluten-free, and even him who is pretty picky with his cookies, he kept saying how great they were. So yes, they really do have something good with their state cookie.
It's the anise. Don't you think it's the anise, Nancy, in the sugar, cinnamon?
That's that licorice. Yeah, it's nice.
That's good. Now, one of the places that you were talking about, the looking at the land was Grove Cafe and Market, and that's interesting because wasn't that also kind of part of a garden thing too? Like you went to a garden too. I've got them all twirled around here. You went to a garden, you went to wineries. That's the thing. You don't think wineries in a city either.
You do not at all. That's what was so amazing. Yeah, are you thinking of Sheehan Winery?
Yes.
You might be thinking of that. That literally, and I'm glad I'm able to explain my article a little bit, because reading that, you might not think that's that unique, that there's a winemaker who also lives near his vineyard. But this is your typical type of neighborhood street of houses, and literally right behind that they have their vineyards, they have their fermentation products, equipment. They have everything they need to make the wine right there in their backyard. So that was a really unique experience to be able to meet with Sean Sheehan, their owner. His mom was there. We got a great tasting of their wines. Yeah, never would have thought New Mexico would have such fantastic wines.
Hey, you know what? I think it's the air in the high desert, and it's got good, good mineral content, I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also, too, something else, getting back to being health conscious and eco-friendly. I've really been interested in learning more about wine and sustainability, how it's grown, pesticides, organic versus conventional. And that was really eye-opening in the whole state as well. So much is very organically grown in New Mexico that most of the wines you could say are quote unquote clean. So even if they maybe don't have that certification of organic level, they still are there working towards those certificates.
See, it's just keep going, do the right thing. And I think that's what they do.
Yep.
It's a good state. It's interesting because you went to Texas this year too, right?
I did. Yep. In April.
Yeah. So when you think about Texas and New Mexico being so close to each other, that you're still saying New Mexico, it's true. It is so different. It is. You can't say
it really was. Yeah. Because that's interesting you mentioned that. I've been to Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and it really is its own little part of the country. It's just this little, it's basically a hidden gem, you might say.
So, okay, so you had wine, you got good food.
Oh, yes.
Now, the one thing, too, that was, this is what I wanted to bring up. It was the Campo at Los Poblanos, the historic inn and organic farm.
Of course.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because you got there's lavender and, oh, my.
That was absolutely beautiful. And like I mentioned in the article, any time is a good time for brunch, of course. But when you're coming down from the high and feeling so just amazing from being up in the hot air balloon, that's where we headed after the morning with Rainbow Riders and being up in the air. And Campo was that was an amazing place for breakfast. And it was a little intimidating because I was feeling pretty hungry, and I've heard so much great things about Campo. And I thought the wait, when we saw the line and we knew we had a bit of a wait, I thought, I'm going to be pretty hungry by the time we get there. But no, they keep it moving. And it's worth the wait, but it really didn't feel that long at all. And you have such a great farm and places to explore. There was a resident kitty walking around. So, that's a beautiful area. Yeah, and the lavender farm, like you mentioned, and they have a beautiful gift shop if you want to buy anything lavender scented or lotions, soaps. And then inside the lavender shop, they also have a coffee bar, which is really convenient while you're waiting for your table. and it's also a B&B. So
Oh,
that
wow.
as well. And yeah, it's a really great place if, say, you want to go for an overnight, or they were telling us they get a lot of events and rent it out for weddings. So you could be staying on the property, pop in to do some lavender shopping, grab a coffee, or go
Oh,
get breakfast at Campo. Yeah, it's a great place.
I think I need the lavender before I go up in the hot air balloon just to calm. Like were you
Is
nervous going up? Because like I get vertigo, but I'll do it. I know I'll do it. Like I'll push
oh,
myself, but then I may have to wear some adult panties.
Hello. I think it'd be cool to take. I think it'd be cool to take bunches of lavender up in a hot air balloon and then throw it and let people have lavender.
Oh, I think I want to take the lavender and a bottle of champagne with me. I need my nerves like, you know.
No, Lisa, I learned something quite interesting. Part of the history of hot air balloon flying is you wait to have your champagne for the toast when you land. It's really considered something you celebrate when you land from flying in a hot air balloon. So we had a beautiful morning of mimosas before we went to Campo to have more food and yummy drinks.
Oh, wow. Okay, wait a minute.
But I guess you
You went
celebrate
up.
a safe landing.
Yeah, so she had mimosas after. No wonder she was hungry.
Yep.
She got high in the morning, came down, had mimosas, and she's like, "I got munchies, man. I don't know what's going on in the state. I got munchies." But this is the I think the champagne at the end is like, you're really right, Nancy. You did the hot air balloon in Kenya, like
I
over
know, and it was
crazy
so
woman. I have a
Oh.
crazy
because
mother.
you're floating over herds of elephant and zebra,
Oh.
and then they say, okay, we're going to land, and you look around like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
who's
Where?
going to be there when you land? Like a pride of lions or elephants? You're going to land right in the middle of a herd. You're like, okay, wait a minute, that's a little scary. Let's have that champagne now.
I know, but
Oh, how
Nan,
did you end up landing?
Oh no,
Oh.
we landed right on the edge of one elephant herd, and when we landed, there's always antelope around, the impala and stuff. And they kind of you would think they'd run. They just all froze and looked at us like, what the heck is that? And then
Wow.
they didn't run until they started letting us get out of the balloon thingy. But when we landed, they just all froze, and everything was like, whoa. Then as soon as we moved, then they all ran away. But then we had our champagne, and they all come back. Because there's one thing I've learned about champagne. Animals and birds love the smell of champagne, and they come back.
Really?
Yeah, they do.
We'll
I
have
think it's the sugar.
We'll have to
or
test
something.
this in January in Yuma
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh
with
yeah.
the birds.
Yeah.
I know where to take you. Yep, I know
Yeah.
exactly where. I know, and we'll do that. We'll do that when you come out of Yuma. We'll do that. Where did you land? Because that's the interesting thing.
'Cause it's
Going
funny.
up in the hot air balloon, you have
Yeah.
liftoff. Like, do you go like do you have that? Oh my God, I'm really going up, and then now that's it feeling.
You know, I did the first time. This was my second time in a hot air balloon ride.
Good girl.
I was terrified when I did it 2 years ago over Napa wine country.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
It was gorgeous, but I was so scared, but I ended up loving it. So I had no fear whatsoever this time around. Once I did that after Napa, I was hooked. I already want to go back to their balloon fiesta as well, because
wow.
I know, I was talking with quite a few people from Albuquerque, and we actually flew with Rainbow Riders. They're the official, hot air balloon company of the balloon fiesta, where there's anywhere from I think 300 or more balloons in the sky at any given time during the fiesta. So, and I would love to just go back for that photography shot and go up in a few, and I just can't imagine how incredible that is.
I've
But
seen the photos where you
part,
guys were over like the rivers. You could like the photos I've seen. I mean, you guys are up there. You can see like the city below you, the river. And I'm like, dude, did you land in the river? That would be cool.
I know. That's the part both times that is a little nerve-wracking, because you don't know. You let the balloon guide you, and the truck below you is following you. and the pilot keeps in touch with the truck, like, hey, it looks like we're going to land here or over there. At one point, it looked like we were going to land in a football field, but it turns out there's a local golf course that's aware that the balloons often land there. So yeah, we were able to land right adjacent to the golf course, have our little mimosa celebration, pack up, and then have more fun at Campo. It was the perfect, and granted too, only having 2 days, I am a believer in using the most of your time, but getting up that early is not fun, but definitely worth it for the hot air balloon ride.
Oh, and you get to see the sunrise. Like just
You
wait till you
do.
get here in Yuma. I'm going to be knocking on your door. Get up, Mary. We got to go. We're going to get, because when you get the sunrises here, it's going to blow your mind. The sunrise.
Oh, I can't wait. Do you have a name for them? Like in Albuquerque, I don't know if you're familiar with the watermelon sunset.
We name everything after cocktails. Don't you know that?
Oh, okay. So tequila sunrise?
Yeah, of course. Actually, yeah, Yuma Landing has a cocktail like that. Anyway, yeah, there's a whole the sunrises here. You will see when you're going to go canoeing. You're going to see that. It's amazing, and I think it's going to be so interesting after your experience in Albuquerque. Just the Southwest experience, to see the similarities and the differences, because, there's also the Native American culture here. We're bordered by 2 different tribes. We've got the Kitsan right across the river, and then we also have the Kokopah, which is part of the festival. And you went actually to learn more about the Indian heritage at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center. And I think that has got to have been amazing, because Pueblo life in New Mexico is so different than like Indian reservations, right? In Arizona, it's kind of different, yet still cultural and connected. So you got to go there, so you got to see like the dances and learn about different things, right?
Yeah, that was actually after our brunch at Campo. We headed over to the Las Poblam. I never pronounce it right. Do you? Oh no, wait. Oh no, that's Campo. I'm so sorry. I'm confusing. The Indian Pueblo Cultural Center is where we moved on to after our brunch, and that's where we got to see the beautiful pottery dance ceremony. It was just beautiful. We spent about an hour there watching the dances and different traditional ceremonies and what the performances, and then we got to go in to their museum. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but they have a beautiful museum tracking heritage, having old artifacts, and they have a temporary exhibit that really called to me. It was called Heritage, but more Heritage, H-E-R, highlighting all the Pueblo leaders that are female and what they've done in the world, what they've done on the reservation. So that's a really good exhibit I recommend if anyone's in the area. And that's there through, I want to say January or February of next year. That was a really fun,
I to me, that's the thing, is showing the women in tribal settings and in look, we're all part of a tribe, and I don't care what color we are, where we came from. We all women run tribes, and there's a strength that happens that is often, not often showcased, and it's really cool to see. National Geographic just did their November issue was dedicated to women around the world, where they took even images from the very first woman being photographed for National Geographic. And there's this Facebook group I'm part of. It's the Women of Impact from National Geographic, and it's all about women connecting in different forms of what you do. What are you doing? Women of Impact, and there was this whole event that they had where different women came, like, astronauts and scientists, and everybody came up and talked about their role. And it's about, women's power that you don't often see in National Geographic. I think it's still one of the best magazines in the world, along with ours, but National Geographic, they're badass, right? And they showed these women.
They are.
they showed women, back in the day when they were first allowed to be photographed, because sometimes they weren't allowed to be. It's like this whole, I don't know. I think when you get to see displays in museums now more and more of women, it's really cool. We got to see that in Little Rock, Nancy, this year. In Little Rock, we went next to our hotel. We were staying at the DoubleTree, right on the Arkansas River. Right next door is the State Capitol Museum.
Nice.
The State Capitol Museum had women, all the women in presidential roles of first ladies. Big exhibit of first ladies.
That was so cool.
It was really cool. They had hiking boots. One of the women first ladies went hiking in Yosemite and taped them back up together with duct tape to continue her hike in Yosemite.
Wow.
Like that kind of stuff.
That's so cool.
See, I love this. I love what you're experiencing, what you have experienced in Albuquerque. But I want to also go back to one thing I think is really interesting is you. I'm telling you, your dogs agree with us, right?
They've always been quiet when I'm doing my interviews with you guys. I don't know what the problem is today.
They know we're excited that you're going to see us. We're all excitable, but
I guess so.
Getting around Albuquerque is interesting. You talk about you fly in, right? And then there's this thing, the Z trip, and you're like, you look at Lyft and Uber going through all kinds of lawsuits, and you're like, okay, like move on. There's this whole other way of getting around.
Exactly. Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Z-Trip was really cool for me because especially, like I mentioned, coming from LA, there's 20 million people in the city. So our LAX airport's always such a disaster, whether it be looking for your shuttle or trying to grab Uber or a taxi, which are all really pricey and all that good stuff. So first of all, arriving into the Albuquerque airport was such a breath of fresh air because it was small, it was easy to navigate. I literally just went right outside, was able to see that the Z-Trip cars were all lined up right out front, no problem to grab one. They knew right where Hotel Chacfa was, where I'd be staying at. Yeah, it was just a really pleasant experience with Z-Trip. No wondering where they are. The driver even called me ahead of time to confirm where I still was. And they have, similar to the rideshare apps like Lyft and Uber, they do have the links you can follow to know where your driver is. It just felt really good supporting a local cab business like that, and they make it so easy to want to support as well with the customer service and ease of finding them.
Nice. That's really cool. Nice. So is it just an Albuquerque thing? Do you think?
It is, yeah. It's a local company to Albuquerque. And then it was really great because with only 2 days there, I really didn't feel a need for a car. And at Hotel Chacfa, it's so easy to get around and then just easily grab another Z ride if you need to get somewhere else. But there's so much to do right outside your door when you're staying at Hotel Chacfa. So that made it really accessible and easy as well.
I think that is key for cities and destinations, is that you want to park and
yes,
and please just take me around because I don't want to navigate. Like I don't want to have to deal with it.
Right.
Take me around.
Yeah, it's always, yeah. I'm excited. I'm going to be doing a story trip next year in Carmel, California.
Oh, sweet.
And that's that's another great place we love to go because we can park our car and then you're in the middle of town at your hotel and everything's right outside your door. It makes it so much easier than worrying about where you're going to park or what parking's like. Or in a city like Albuquerque, there are a lot of paid parking lots. So, you save a few bucks if you're able just to walk around. Yep.
That's what Nancy, right? What we've learned on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
I there's one thing. National parks and all park units do have hours. So don't think you can arrive early. Yeah. Like a few hours. Maybe sleeping outside the gate. Number 2, parking in cities like, we were very lucky.
Parking is the issue.
Like, certain ones that, they took care of us or, but parking, like when hotels provide shuttles or like what you're saying, the Z trip, this kind of thing, it saves you money and time and
Oh, big
hassle,
time.
you know. Otherwise you're spending time trying to go like, how am I going to get from A to B, like, and then all these different things. But the other part was and I want to talk about Hotel Chaco, but you took a tour of Albuquerque. There's like a trolley kind of deal, right? Like the best of ABQ city tour.
Yeah, I did. That was really fun because even though I was scrunched a bit on time, I really find tours like that a great way to get a feel for the city, find out more areas you might know otherwise not know they existed if you want to go back and visit and whatnot. So yeah, the best of ABQ city tours, a 90-minute tour highlighting all of the local landmarks, notable buildings, and for me, I got really excited. There were a lot of pop culture facts.
Oh yeah.
I've never been into Breaking Bad, but I had several friends of mine really excited I was going to Albuquerque because there's a lot of references to Breaking Bad. It was filmed in Albuquerque. There's their famous bad candy lady shop where you can buy quote unquote drugs that are inspired from the series.
That's
and
magic.
That's funny.
Yeah. The part of that tour that did really make me nerd out was finding out that Vivian Vance, who was Ethel Mertz on I Love Lucy, she was from Albuquerque and did some performances at the Albuquerque Little Theater, and they helped her. They did a fundraiser to help her get to Hollywood to become a star.
Wow.
So now they have memorabilia, Vivian Vance's, and she was also the very first woman to be given the Best Supporting Actress Emmy, and they have that in the lobby as well.
Oh, no way.
So that
Woman
that was
power
really
again.
cool to me.
Here
there
we
you
are.
go. Yep.
But you also in your article talk about Netflix has studios, because Netflix, I look at what Hulu's doing, Netflix, and Amazon, and our whole
Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's all changed, but like now it's in Albuquerque. Like, look, who would have thought Atlanta? It's like amazing. Atlanta's got it. Albuquerque. I'm looking what's happening in Kentucky, Louisiana. There's all these places.
I know.
Just kind of like going, okay, we're going to be a film destination, and I think you have to have like a sound stage, like a specific thing for filming. And
you do. Our tour guide, Eric, on the bus tour, he was really informative and told us all those fun tidbits like that. Yeah, every studio does need like a sound stage, certain equipment in place. Albuquerque is the number 3 city that's on the film ready list. That means that that's an area where studios have crew to go out and film at a moment's notice because it's that in demand to be filming in Albuquerque right now.
Wow.
So there's filming for Netflix and AMC, of course, and then there's this really fun neighborhood. It's actually where Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, we're the same neighborhood where his house is from the show. They call it basically the Anytown USA neighborhood, and people buy in that area knowing that they're probably going to be called up by film studios to want to use their house. So it's an investment right out the gate because they're getting calls from Netflix and the studios to use their lawn or maybe do a day in their backyard.
Well, hello.
Right?
Who's coming to my barbecue?
I know.
I could give them a list.
Yeah, right?
Hello, there's certain people. Can we have Saturday Night Live come to my backyard?
Oh, that'd be fun.
There you go.
That would be so cool, right? There's certain things that you'd go like, that is so cool. I find that really fascinating. I think it really sets Albuquerque apart, in a way that, knowing all of that, that's really.
It truly does. And it's such a great angle to create more tourism because you're going to get so many people wanting to go to Albuquerque, whether it be Breaking Bad or other movies that have been filmed there.
Well, New Mexico's pretty huge. There's a film tour for the entire state. We went to Gallup, New Mexico, and so we have Steve Schneikert, which you've got to come on one of our crazy party things that we do.
Oh,
We
fun.
do like our own improv radio plays and stuff. And Steve Schneickert's our Hollywood historian. And, as we travel, he does a podcast series of different places for, where we were. And Gallup, New Mexico, I think it was like, over 130 movies, Nancy, were filmed there?
Something like that. It's crazy.
And we stayed at the historic
Wow.
El Rancho, where they stayed, the movie stars. So we slept in different movie star rooms. And yeah, it's cool. You have to come do like radio play. It's shenanigans. It's all fun. But that people do travel according to film locations. They want to see
Oh,
who slept
totally.
where. Like we stayed in a place in Arizona, and Clark Gable not slept. Well, maybe he did. Took a bath in the bathtub. He stayed in that room and bathed in that old bathtub is still there. So people want that room just to get in the bathtub that Clark Gable was in. I mean,
Wow.
I just hope they cleaned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
But there's a thing. It's people really do, and tourism and the film industry are hand in hand, even if it is not even going outside and using like national parks and stuff as a setting, even a soundstage. We watched it personally change an entire small town
Mm-hmm.
in Kentucky, change its economic balance from zero to millions, and it's amazing what it can do, and when it's
Wow.
done right. So I think what you brought up for Albuquerque is amazing. Hotel Chaco, I want to go there because we have been interviewing artists there. The National Parks Arts Foundation has an artist in residence program where artists go stay in a park for a month all over the country. You should apply, Mary, because they take travel writers too.
Oh,
Just saying.
do they?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm just saying. So dry tortugas, you could have your own island in the Florida Keys, to Hawaii volcanoes. Chaco Canyon up in northern New Mexico is a place very ancient, very special ceremonial sites of just the ancient Chaco culture. There are ceremonial sites. It has to do with the solstice and all of this. It's a magical place, but artists stay there for a month. So we've been interviewing them for about 3 years, I don't know, a long time now. And finally this year we got to go to Chaco, and it was exactly that, magical.
Oh.
Magical. But now you stayed in the Hotel Chaco that was built, and Chaco is a UNESCO heritage site. Nancy, like, we need to go there now, right, Nancy?
Mm-hmm.
We want to
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you know me, I'll go anywhere.
I know, but this is it's built after that. I mean, when companies build a hotel and look at it in that respect, that's where I think this is where the New Mexico True comes in as well. That hashtag New Mexico True comes in, that even the lodging goes, we're going to honor the land and the people where we are, give you that sense of place.
Oh, completely. And it was amazing staying at the hotel because I felt such a heightened sense of ease during my stay. It was just had the most calming energy and just a really laid back, welcoming atmosphere, because I had a lot of people asking me or saying they'd be a little weirded out or just not sure what to expect, staying places where there's ancient burial grounds and so much rich history. But it's just such a beautiful hotel, and just something about it just is very inviting and calming. You just want to stay and enjoy yourself while you're there. And the architecture and the decor and the attention to detail, it was the lobby alone was beautiful, let alone when you go up to your floor and see your suites. They really made something special at the Hotel Chaco. And it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait for the next time I go to Albuquerque, because they're developing what's going to be called the Sawmill District. That's where Hotel Chaco is. And funny enough, some of the planners and builders of the Sawmill District are the owners of the Grove Cafe. So they're investing in the new district as well. So there's going to be lots of cool shops, bars, restaurants. So that's going to be really cool to hopefully see on a follow-up visit what comes from the Sawmill District.
Wow. Okay, Nancy,
Yeah.
putting it on the list for 2020.
Yeah.
We gotta put it on the list. Nancy, you're. Hey, listen, they have over 1,000 pieces of public art too.
Cool.
In
They
Albuquerque.
do.
And we're addicted to
Yep.
public art. It's become like a candy for us. Like wherever we go, it's like the film location, right? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy. But so everyone, you got to go check out Mary's article. It's up on our Big Blend Radio and TV magazine website, which is blendradioandtv.com. You can see it there now and see her photos and read all about it. And you can also read it in our February and March issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, which you can get right on that same website. And of course, keep up with Mary. Go and follow her at alongcomesmaryblog.com. I got it right this time, right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, we got it there. And then after that, you'll hear about her adventures, along with a lot of other IFTWA travel writers who are joining us here in Yuma, Arizona for the second annual Yuma Bird Nature History Festival. That's happening January 10th through 12th, right as this podcast airs. So there you go. But
Yay!
you'll hear more about that. And I encourage you to go to, if you're a travel writer or a destination, go to ifwtwa.org for the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association. Awesome organization, connects travel writers, photographers, authors with the destinations, and it's just everyone connects. And then as travelers, we get to learn about these destinations. So it's very cool. So again, it's ifwtwa.org. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mary. It's always a pleasure. And you know, we like to play you music. So your song today
Yes.
goes with your hotel experience. It's called Chaco. And it is from one of our favorite bands that are in your hood in LA. It's the Tall Men. You know, we love the Tall Men. This is the Tall Men group, and everyone can keep up with them on CD Baby or their website, tallmengroup.weebly.com. And here's the song Chaco. Don't forget, everyone, keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. See you soon.
I remember these canyon walls. I remember desert wind. No, I've never been here before. It's good to be back here again. It's good to be back here again. Oh, Chaco, you were my home. And part of me still here, with these same eyes, but a different face in this place. The time is long since gone. Oh, Chaco, you were my home. I remember turquoise in my hand. I remember stars at night. I remember walking a dusty road. I don't remember how I died. I don't remember how I died. Oh, Chaco, you were my home. The part of me still here, with these same eyes, but a different face in this place. The time is long since gone. Oh, Chaco, you were my home. A glimpse behind the curtain, the shadow on the wall, a vision I can never grasp. A few pieces of the puzzle, fragments of the truth. These memories from my ancient past. Oh, Chaco, you were my home, and part of me still here. With these same eyes, but a different face in this place. The time is long since gone.